All right, folks, a little bit later start than I wanted to get this morning or afternoon now. Had some things come up that I needed to get done, but now my schedule is free the rest of the day, so I'm able to enjoy the rest of the day. All my chores are done early, so that's a good thing, I guess. Just put me a little bit behind starting this game, but that's okay. We will make it. Hello, Ben, and hello, Kenyon. Ben, I got your email. I have not had a chance to delve into it. It's a pretty long email. Um, Sounded like you had, just by breezing through it a little bit, sounded like you had some kind of alternative to the super advanced stratomatic chart. Um, but I think you said it was too big to email. I don't know um, if that's something you were thinking about physically mailing me, or how, if it's too big to email. I'm not sure how to get it. I'll have to go back and read your email a little closer. Oh, just enlarged. Okay, gotcha. Just enlarged. Okay. Some people homebrew stuff, so that's why I wasn't sure. Some people actually homebrew those things and make up their own little rules and everything else. So, but anyway, I digressed. We are on to season ticket baseball, NBC game of the week, 1978. We're at Candlestick Park in San Francisco for the game between the rival Dodgers and the Giants. Kenny, are you talking about card quality or uh, performance, or the way the game is played? I mean, if you're talking about the way the game is played, there's more strikeouts. There's, their bunt ratings are much lower, and it's like hit for the fences kind of stuff. But if you're talking about card quality, it's night and day. The 76 cards are flimsy. The 2024 cards are pretty good, I would say. That's okay, man. People alter stuff and don't know what the hell they're doing, but they do it anyway, and it makes them happy, and that's all that counts. As long as you're happy, that's all that counts. I mean, it's really, there's no wrong way to do it. I just think to enjoy it most, you should, as close as possible, follow the rules of any game you play. And if you do alter things, be consistent, and that's the only thing you can ask for is consistency. All right, got my little crystal light stuff. I need to wet my whistle. Hello, Clay. Glad you are here because, like I said, I probably need some rules help before the day is done. All right, so Dodgers and the Giants. This game was played August the 5th of 1978. Got our dice, of course, ready to go. First thing we do, go to Candlestick Park and check the weather. Average base temperature, and it's a big drop off when you go to Candlestick Park. The summertime there, someone once said the coldest time they ever had was a summer in San Francisco or something like that. So their base temperature is 54. So there's really almost impossible to get. In fact, it is impossible to get there. I don't think there's 10, 10, and 6 is 6. Was that 26? Can you get up there with 26? I guess you could, but we'll roll it. But I don't think there's any chance of anything happening on that. That's a 15, so that's only going to make that 69. So there is no change for deep drives because of the cooler weather here in the summertime in San Francisco. Oh, thank you, Joe. I knew I heard that somewhere. I just didn't know it. I'm sure I butchered it. I'm sure I didn't quote it verbatim, but it was something about the coldest summer he ever spent was in San Francisco or something like that. I don't know what it was. But anyway, we're ready to go. And Ed Halicki is your starting pitcher for the Dodgers. For the Giants. Look at the Dodger lineup. It's pretty standard. Lopes, Russell, Smith, Say, Garvey, Baker, Mundy, Oates. Well, Oates is catching instead of Yeager. That's probably the only difference there. And then I spilled some coffee on the score sheet, so no big deal there. Madlock, Dwyer, Evans, McCovey, Whitfield, Herndon, Metzger, Hill, and Halicki. Jack Clark is on the bench in this game. I don't know why he didn't start. Just for whatever reason he didn't, but he is available to pinch hit when the time comes. So we are ready to go. Davey Lopes will lead things off for the Dodgers, rather, as the game of the week is underway. Next week's game of the week, in case you want to look ahead. In fact, these are the next 3 game of the weeks. We'll be in Philadelphia next week for the Pirates and the Phillies. See these same Dodgers against the Mets on the 19th, and then on the 26th, It'll be American League finally to go back to the Angels and Red Sox. That's the schedule for the next 3 weeks to finish out the month of August. And now we're ready to go. Halicki, that's a 551, and that should be an easy play for the third baseman. Not Bill Matlock, but Darrell Evans, third base. Should be very, very easy. 551 is just going to be a 5-3 ground out. So very, very simple. When you get a 1 on the blue die like that for a fielding check, it's pretty much easy goings. That'll bring up Bill Russell. Okay, that's the exact close. The coldest winter I ever spent was the summer in San Francisco. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. 300 right on the number. And that's going, usually 300s are a strikeout, but Russell apparently did not strike out much in 78 because normally most guys have strikeouts here, but he's got a 5-4 ground out, but in this case a 5-3 ground out, and Darrell Evans will handle it again. But most players have a strikeout in that 300 range, and I think Russell might be the first one I've seen in a while that hasn't had that, so at least in the 78 season. So here is Reggie Smith, switch hitter. 540, and again with that 0 on the blue die, that makes it very easy for Bill Matlock, and a 540 is a 4-3 ground out. So pretty easy pedestrian inning for Ed Halicki as he takes care of the Dodgers in short order. We go to the bottom of the first. Dodgers nothing and Giants coming to bat. And Bob Ebony Eyes Welch had a very famous confrontation with Reggie Jackson in the World Series, I do believe, in this 78 season. Maybe that's what he's most known for. He also, I think, won 20-something games for Oakland in 1990. All right, here's Bill Matlock. He will lead things off against Welch. 197, and that's a bloop double off of Bob Welch. Look at that. How about that? Bill Matlock, a bloop double. And right away, the Giants are threatening. And Jim Dwyer is your batter. Leadoff double for Matlock. Welch in trouble early, facing Jim Dwyer. 559. This time the blue 9 is not going to be kind to Reggie Smith in right field. I can tell you that. 559 is going 550. Oh, I'm not doing it. It's the third baseman, not the right fielder. I saw those 9s there. Third baseman Ron Say is going to have the trouble, and that's a 1 base error on Ron Say. That 559 is an E5, so Ron Say will boot it. Ron Say will boot it, and runners are at the corners with nobody out. Dodgers look like they weren't ready to play today for some reason. Don't know why. Let's move these benches and bullpen. I'll bring them back if they're needed. Give me more room here. All right, so runners on the corners with nobody out for Darrell Evans. The infield's playing back for the double play. Hello, Captain. Good to see you. Well, Clay, that makes sense why he doesn't have a strikeout in the 300 category if he only had 34. Definitely a contact hitter. I think that's why Lasorda always batted him second in the lineup because of the good bat control, much like Tim Foley of the Pirates was back in the late 70s. Now here's Welch. Boy, I'm rolling a lot of defensive check here. 538, that's not good either for Steve Garvey. Dodgers can't catch a break on the blue die. 538 is going to be a single to right field. How about that? Right fielder arm is Reggie Smith. Do we dare have Dwyer challenge him? Reggie Smith's arm is a 5. Dwyer is a 5 speed. So potentially could be a challenge coming up. Scoring from third is Matlock. But now, do we send the runner? I believe we will. There's the challenge for the outfielder. The 5 arm and the 5 speed of the outfielder kind of cancels out. So now these 3 dice have to be 10 or higher in order for him to be safe. And they are. So he will make it to third base. Runners are still at the corners. Nobody out as Dwyer makes it to third. And Welch is getting rudely treated by the Giants here in the bottom of the first. 1-0 San Francisco. Still nobody out for stretch Willie McCovey. Hello, Robert. RJL Network. You can check out his very long and detailed stream from last night going over version 4, or I'm not sure they call it version 4, but advanced inside pitch type stuff, if you're so inclined. Here's McCovey. 523. Boy, another. I'm just keeping on that red 5 keeps coming up over and over and over. This one is for the catcher, Johnny Oates. But a 523 is going to be a walk. So that's going to load the bases. Dodgers cannot catch a break on that blue die. So we've got a double, a single, an error, and a walk, and then we loaded the bases with nobody out for Terry Whitfield. Infield looking for that double play. They need an out desperately. 365, so at least they didn't get in the 5s anymore. 365 is a fly to left field. Not deep enough to score any runs, so everyone will hold. And there's one away. So Welch gets the first out, and here's Larry Herndon. Now double play gets them out of the inning. 210, and that's a split chance. Herndon is a righty. 210 is a 4-6-3 double play, just what the doctor ordered. And Bob Welch gets out of this with only 1 run. That's pretty impressive. That could come back to bite the Giants because they were looking to score at least 3 or 4 runs this inning, but only getting 1 may be troublesome. We shall see. We will go to the second. 1-0 Giants. And Ron Say, the batter. Ron Say. Tomorrow at 3, okay. We'll check it out. Kind of a delayed tribute game to Ryan Sandberg, maybe. All right, the Penguin, Ron Say. 128. That's a redirect to a 328. 328 is a strikeout. So Ron Say will go down on strikes. 1 down for Steve Garvey, Mr. Clean, borderline Hall of Famer. Some say he should be in, some say he should not. I can make a case either way. 479, and that's going to be a deep fly to center field. So he just got up under it and didn't get quite enough of it. Hauled in by Herndon in center. 2 down for Dusty Baker, who ironically would go on to manage the Giants, rather. Halicki, another 5. This time a blue 8's going to hurt San Francisco for sure. Metzger, the shortstop, is not going to do well. 568 is going to allow a single into left field. So finally, a hit for the Dodgers, but there are 2 outs. And let's see if Dusty Baker could. Boy, he doesn't steal much, does he? To get the lead. Well, if you get these 2 dice over a 10, you get the lead because his hold is a 0 and his steal is a 0. He doesn't do it, so he will hold. All right, so Baker holds with 2 outs. And that will bring up Rick Monday. 381, and that's a non-split chance, and 381 is a strikeout to end the inning. Struck him out. Second strikeout for Halicki. And that's going to end the inning. Nothing doing for the men in blue. We go to the bottom of the second. Still 1-0 G-men. Roger Metzger will lead things off, followed by Mark Hill. And finally, the pitcher Halicki. Welch, 111. That's a redirect to a 311. 311 is a fly to left field for Metzger. 1 away for the catcher Mark Hill. 211. 211. Hill is a right-hander. 211 is a 4-3 ground out. That'll be 2 down. And that will bring up the pitcher card, and it will bring up Ed Halicki. So we'll see his eye is a 2 and his contact is a 1, should that come up. But it does not. It goes off of Welch. 173, and he's going to walk him. How about that? He walks the pitcher Halicki. 2-out walk to Halicki. And that'll Bring it back to the top of the order for Bill Madlock. Hello, Doug. Good to see you. 196, and that's going to be a bloop single with 2 outs. That's a 2-base advancement automatically, and that's going to put runners at the corners. So Halicki moses over to third with 2 outs, runners on the corners. Welch thought he had an easy inning, but it's not turning out that way. Wasn't that a K? Did I have a K? I thought I had a bloop single. Which Captain, which role are we talking about? The one for Hill or the one for, I'm sorry, the one for Halicki or the one for Madlock? The pitcher hitting card. I wasn't on the pitcher hitting card. I rolled a 173 and it was a walk. Only go to the pitcher hitting card when it's a 300 or a 400. Unless I rolled 300 and 400 and didn't read it right. I thought I read it correctly, but I have no idea what you're talking about, Captain. Not a clue. Not a clue what you're talking about. Oh, hold on. Let me see the bottom of the pitcher hitting card. Okay, let me take a look here. Oh, okay. I did not know this. For contact ratings under 2, these results take precedent result on the pitcher card. Okay, thank you, Captain. I did not know that. I've never paid. I've always looked up here. I've never seen this. So yes, you are correct. That is a strikeout. And if that's the case, then Madlock never singled because there were 2. That would have been the 3rd out of the inning. So thank you for catching that, Captain. I did not realize that was the case. And certainly Halicki, his contact rating is only a 1. So that means that when I rolled the 179 or whatever it was within that 170 range, it is a strikeout. That's the first time I've ever seen that before. Yeah, me too, Ben. I'm glad the roll came up because now I've learned something. I did not realize that. I have to fix my score sheet, which is no problem. I can do that. Unfortunately, caught it before any runs took place. So Madlock's single at the end there never happened because Halicki was the 3rd out by striking out. So that's going to take care of that. You are the man, Captain. Thank you for catching that. So nothing doing there, and Madlock will actually be the leadoff hitter in the 3rd because technically he never came to bat. Okay, cool deal. So we go to the 3rd, and it's Halicki. He'll be facing Oates and Welch. Oates and Welch. Yes, there seems to be. Let's see, what does a Welch have? He's a 1 contact pitcher as well, so I'll keep an eye on that as well when he bats. Halicki, a 397, which is a non-split for Oates, which is a fly ball to left, and there's 1 away. And now the pitcher, Bob Welch, contact of 1, eye of 2. But this time we're on the ballpark. First time going to the ballpark, 699, and that's going to be a walk. No, take it back. He's the home team batting. No, it's the visiting team batting, so it is a walk. It's not going to be a power result. Not a deep drive, just a walk to Welch. So how about that? The first Dodger base runner is the pitcher, Bob Welch. Go figure. All right, here's Davey Lopes. That's a 148, and that's going to be a 3-1 put out. So the runner will advance to second. Welch, as McCovey flips to Halicki covering for 2 down. Runner in scoring position. Tying run for Bill Russell. That's a 466 against a right-hander. 466 is a strikeout. Would have been a single against the lefty, but against the righty, he strikes out and the inning's over. So there's where the lefty-righty comes in. And as far as lefty-righty splits go, I mean, the cards don't have to have slashes and extremes all over the place, as long as there's at least a modicum of acknowledgement that there's differences between lefty and righty batters. That's what I care about in the game. They don't have to be over the top, but they at least need to have something. So these cards at least have a few spots where it takes place. So at least the opportunity is there without being run to the ground. But like some other games where there are some other games out there where you have to roll a certain roll to even get a split, and that's the only time you get it, then that's not, and it's not based on the player, it's just generic. That kind of doesn't do much for me. All right, here's Bill Madlock. He will bat for real this time. 393 rather. 393 is a single, so Bill Madlock with a base hit. Just like he got in the second inning, erroneously, he gets it here in the third, legitimately. His steal is a 1, but Welch has an 8 hold pickoff, or hold rating, so we're not going to go there. Here's Jim Dwyer. 102 is a redirect to a 302, and that's a strikeout. Mr. Dwyer out on strikes for Welch. That's his second strikeout. 1 away for Darrell Evans, third baseman. 159, and that's going to be a fly. I'm sorry, that's going to be a fly ball to left field. 2 down for a stretch, Willie McCovey. .307, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Welch working his way back after a rough first inning, but he has seemed to have found the groove. And at the end of 3, it's still only 1-0, so definitely anybody's ball game. Halicki back out will face Smith, Say, and Garvey for the Dodgers. 228 against a switch hitter batting left-handed. 228 is a pop to third, foul to third, whatever you want to call it. As long as the third baseman makes the put out, that's all that matters. Here is Ron Say, the Penguin. 549. Boy, that blue dye 9 is going to mess up the second baseman Madlock again. So 549 is not going to be good, and it's going to be an error on Bill Madlock. So Madlock will boot it. E4. And now each team with an error. Each team has an error, and now up to the plate is Steve Garvey. 492 against a right-hander. That is a deep fly to center field. Runner on second would have gone to third. Runner on third would go home, but a runner on first has to hold. So there's 2 away. And it's up to Dusty Baker. Boy, that blue dye comes up high again. This is for the left fielder, and that is Whitfield. Whitfield, 578 is going to be a single plus. So that means the runner goes from first to second. The plus means if had he been on second, he would have scored, but the runner on first only gets 1 base. So first and second, 2 down for Rick Monday. Monday struck out his first time. 266. Monday's a left-handed hitter. So 266 is a redirect to a 546. 546. So we're back to the second baseman, Bill Madlock, for a 546 chance. and a 546 is a single to right field. So that means the runner on second can challenge the throw to score. We'll take a look and see who that is. Right fielder is Dwyer. And Dwyer, we'll check his arm. Dwyer's arm is in right field is a 5. He is a 5 arm in right field. The runner at second is the Penguin Ron Say. His speed is a 0 though, so it's going to be kind of hard to challenge that. So we're just going to have the bases loaded. And Johnny Oates, the catcher, will bat. Bases loaded, 2 outs. '79, they went to grass. Okay, cool. I remember they were going back and forth because I've seen pictures both ways on that. So here's Johnny Oates. 341 for Oates, non-split, is a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. They're going to leave the bases loaded. So the Dodgers come away empty-handed with the bases loaded. That might come back to get them later in the game. Go to the bottom of the fourth, still 1-0. And Whitfield will be your batter. It'll be Whitfield, Herndon, and Metzger due up against Welch. .186 for Welch, and that's going to be a wild pitch, so it's just ball 1. Nothing happening. Try again. 321, and the 321 is a strikeout of Mr. Whitfield. He is out of here. 4th strikeout for Welch. 1 down for Larry Herndon. Hello, Ernest. 239, and Herndon's a righty, so coming over here, 239 is a 6-3 ground out. So grounds out to Russell. 2 down, and Welch has really settled in since that first inning. Here's Metzger. 436. Welch is a righty, so 436 is a 4-3 ground out, and that's going to end the inning. So 3 up, 3 down. 6 in a row now retired by Welch, and at the end of 4, it's still 1-0 favor of the Giants. Leading off will be the pitcher, Welch. He has a contact of 1 and an eye of 2. And it's a 4, so we're going to go to that chart now. 444 is the eye rating. His eye rating is a 2. So under column 2 for the eye rating, a 444 falls into this category. Pop up to first, pop up to third. But with the righty batting, he's a righty batter as a pitcher. He pops it up to first, or fouls it to first, I guess technically would be the lingo. And McCovey puts it away, 1 away. 1 down, and that's going to bring up Davey Lopes. 371 for Lopes, non-split, is a 6-3 ground out. So grounds out to Metzger, 2 down. And Halicki controlling the Dodgers pretty well, except for last inning, but he got out of it. Russell, 279 against the right-hander. That's a deep drive to left field for Bill Russell, but his power is a 0. Power is a 0. Deep drive to left. We're looking right here. That's an 8. So that will be a fly ball to left field, and that's going to end the inning. So Russell hits it fairly well, but not much power there. And right in front of the track, it's hauled in by Whitfield. Dodgers go in order, 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 1-0. Welch back out. Welch and Halicki both have staminas of 6, so they can pitch 6 full, and not fatigue doesn't kick in until the 7th. So we'll see how they do. Of course, both teams have, Dodgers have 4 guys in the bullpen. Giants have 5. Here's Mark Hill, 167, and that will be a fly ball to left field, 1 away. But the way they're pitching now, they're not even going to need a bullpen except for if they remove for a pinch hitter. So here's Halicki. Here is Halicki. He's got a contact of 1 and an eye of 2. But that's a 627 ballpark card, 637 with the home team batting, and that's a fly to center. So easy play there. 2 down. That's 8 in a row retired by Bob Welch. And here's Madlock. 625 becomes a 635 with the home team batting. 635 is a fly to center. And that's going to end the inning. A 1-2-3 inning once again for the Dodgers and the Giants. Now 10 in a row retired by Bob Welch. But he still trails it 1-0. So he's looking for some run support. And the Dodgers have the right guys to do it. Coming up right here, heart of the order, Reggie Smith, Ron Cey, and Steve Garvey. Reggie Smith, that's a 527. Boy, that blue 7 is going to be rough here on the catcher, Mark Hill. 527 will create a walk. So it's a leadoff walk as Reggie Smith is aboard. Does he have he stole 12 bases, so he might try to go here. Look at Mark Hill's catcher arm here, so I can see what I'm working with. His arm is a 4. So they're going to try to get the lead with Reggie Smith. They will attempt to get the lead. And to get the lead, we'll bring this back out again for those that are new or haven't seen it much at all. 2 D10s plus his steal rating has to be greater than or equal to 10 plus the hold rating. His hold rating is 0, so it just has to be equal to a 10. Smith's steal rating is a 3, so basically these 2 dice have to total 7 or higher. And they do. So he will get the lead. And now he's going to go for the steal, and the steal will incorporate all 3 dice and the catcher arm. The catcher arm we already saw was a 4. So it has to be greater than or equal to 14. His steal rating, or speed rating rather, is a 4. So these 3 dice have to total 10 or higher to be safe. And they are. So it's stolen base for Reggie Smith. He steals second base, gets into scoring position with nobody out for Ron Cey. And it also takes another key factor in stealing the base is it eliminates the ground ball double play. Sometimes that's overlooked. You think about just getting into scoring position, but it serves 2 purposes. It eliminates the ground ball double play. You still have a line drive double play, but it eliminates these ground ball double plays. 187, and that's a bloop single to first base, or bloop single rather. But with less than 2 outs, the runner has to hold. He only gets 1 base. So runners on the corners with nobody out. And here comes Garvey. Infield back for the double play. Whoa. Defensive check and a blue 8 is bad again. This one for the right fielder, Dwyer. Not good at all. 590. I'm sorry. Actually, he's using the secondary. We will use a secondary defensive chart, but that's still probably not going to work well for him. So because he's mainly on his card, he's rated as a first baseman primarily, but he is playing right field in this one. So on the outfield, the first thing we do is check the range. We're going to check the range. Let's see if the blue die is greater than 7, which this is, it's a single. And you see below, I'm trying to read the Clay or Captain, you can let me know if this is correct. The range, we're looking at the range of, because his range is only a 4. So the blue die is not less than his range, so we don't go here, we go here. Because the blue die is greater than the range of Dwyer. And it's greater than 7. The blue die is greater than 7, so it's a single. Single plus. Sorry, let me double check it here. Single plus. The outfielder arm is a 5, so it looks to me like it would be the single plus. I think you are correct on that, Captain. I'm saying single plus here, which will score the run and put runners at first and second. But I do believe that's the correct way to play that with the ratings-based defense. So runners at first and second, and we got a tie game. Still nobody out. So third time through the order, they're getting to Halicki. First and second, nobody out, and Dusty Baker, the batter. 1-1 tie. I think we got it right, Captain. I feel pretty confident about this one. Feel pretty confident about this one. I do too, Captain. I didn't even realize he was, but these are as-played lineups. So, all right, here's Halicki, 230, and that's Baker's a righty. 230 is a 5-3 ground out, so the runners are going to advance, actually. Only play being to first base. That's big. Now the infield will have to come in. Second and third, only one out. The infield's going to have to come in. He will have to come in. And Rick Monday is your batter. Oates is on deck. Oates is a 300 hitter, so we're not going to walk Monday. Infield is in. Here's Halicki. 454. Halicki's a righty. 454. That's a straight up home run for Rick Monday. It doesn't matter if they're in or out. A 454 is a solid 3-run home run for Rick Monday. And the Dodgers are starting to lay waste to Halicki, and the Giant bullpen is definitely active. It's now 4-1 Dodgers, a 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning going on right here. Look at it again, 454 for Rick Monday. A 454 is right here, a solid home run. There's no other check to worry about. It's long and it's gone. And Halicki is licking his wounds right now. And Johnny Oates is now your batter. Giant bullpen. Let's look at the Giant bullpen. These are the arms that they have available. 3 right-handers, Williams, Moffitt, and Minton, and 2 lefties, Curtis and Lavelle. Let's see, the pitcher spot is 8 spots away, so there's no worry about needing a double switch or anything like that. Let's see who they might want to go to here. Dodgers have... Well, they got a good mixture of righties and lefties. I think they're going to go to the... Well, he's not going to go to the bullpen yet, but they're going to warm up Charlie Williams. He's got a little bit of length. Give him some length if they need it. So Charlie Williams is loosening in the bullpen for the Giants. So Oates steps to the plate. That's a 521. In this case, with a blue 1, that's certainly going to help the catcher. Mr. Mark Hill might even frame a strikeout. We'll see. And he does. 521 is a strikeout. So Oates out on strikes for out number 2, and that's going to bring up the pitcher Welch with his 1 contact and 2 eye rating. That's a 359, and that's going to go to his contact rating, which is a 1. So 1 contact with a 359, that's a strikeout. So Welch out on strikes to end the inning, but a 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning for the Dodgers, capped off by a 3-run homer from Rick Monday. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. All of a sudden, it's turned around. It's Dodgers 4, Giants 1. Welch back out. And that might be all for Halicki. They may actually just go ahead and go to Charlie Williams now and be done with it, but we'll wait and see. Jim Dwyer, the batter. We get a 180. 180 is a base on balls, so don't count the Giants out. Dwyer's aboard. Down 4-1. They're not going to worry about trying to steal. Here's Evans. That's a 644. Turns into a 654. 654 is a 5-4 ground out. So fielder's choice. 5-4. Dwyer's erased. Evans, the new runner at first, with one away. And stretch, Willie McCovey going to the plate. 386, non-splits, 386 as they fly to right, 2 down. And it's up to Terry Whitfield. 340. 340 is an infield single for Terry Whitfield. So runners at first and second. Now the tying run comes to the plate and Larry Herndon. Herndon, not much in the way of power, that's for sure, but could keep the inning going with a base hit or possible fielding blunder. Let's see, 545, that's Davey Lopes. 545, though, is a 4-3 ground out, and with 2 outs, that's good enough to end the inning. So Lopes makes the play, and at the end of 6, still 4-1 Dodgers. Pitcher spot for the Giants is now 3 spots away. So let's see, do they want to do a double switch, or do they want to, just since RJL is here and because he loves him so much, I might go and just do a double switch just for the hell of it. And let's see, Herndon made the last out in the center field. Do I have another center fielder I want to go to? Not really. Let's see, let me check Dwyer real quick. Dwyer. Covey was there. All right, so we're going to, let's see how we're going to play this here. All right, this is what we're going to do. Jack Clark is going to come into the game to play right field. So Jack Clark, pardon my messy score sheet there with that stain on it, but Jack Clark is going to play right field, and he is going to bat 9th. And Jim Dwyer will move from, let's see, do I want to take him out? Yeah, I guess so. So we'll put the pitcher spot here. All right, so the pitcher is the number 2 spot, Clark the number 9 spot. So Jack Clark. And it also takes Dwyer off his alternative defensive play and puts a regular right fielder in the lineup. So it solves 2 purposes, really. And Williams will be the new pitcher, batting in the 2nd position. Batting 9th right behind Metchker, and Hill will be Jack Clark. Coming out of the game, of course, is Jim Dwyer. So Clark, batting 9th and playing right field, is the new addition. Coming up for the Dodgers is the top of the order, Lopes. Let's see, let's get the numbers on Halicki. He went 6 innings, and he gave up 4 runs. They were, let's see, where they earned, all of them were earned. The big 3-run homer from Monday, the big crushing blow. So he hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got him for 6 hits. I show he walked 2, and he struck out. I've got him for 5 strikeouts. So there is a line I have on Halicki. 6 innings pitched, 4 runs. 1 of the homers he gave up, the 3-run homer. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. So we start at the top of the 7th with Mr. Charlie Williams on the mound. He was 1-3 with no saves and a 5.44 earned run average for the Giants. I knew you would like that art. I did it just for you, Robert. I did it just for you. Williams, 479. That's under Lopes, a right-hander, 479. It's a triple. Look at that. Davey Lopes triples to lead off the inning. Davey Lopes with a cracks a triple. No doubt about it. A solid triple. No other alternate checks to check or rolls to make. It's a straight-out triple. 478, 479, and 480 Davey Lopes triples against anybody. And he did it right here. So the infield's going to be in. Yeah, I'm sure it's mighty nice of me, wasn't it, Robert? All right, here's Bill Russell with the infield in. 224, and Russell's a righty. 224 is a strikeout, a big one too. Russell doesn't strike out much, but he does get caught with the strikeout there. One away, infield still in for Reggie Smith. That's a 162, and that's going to be a wild pitch, and that will score the run. So Charlie Williams uncorks the wild pitch. It's now 5-1 Dodgers. Hey, Brian B., good to see you. In case you missed it, Brian B., since Robert is off tonight, I've moved up the Sparky Bowl game to tonight rather than tomorrow night. So it'll be roughly around 8-ish or so to finish up the Sparky Bowl. But it will be tonight, not tomorrow night, since there is an open window. Here's Williams, 497. And against a right-hander, that's a deep drive to right field for Reggie Smith. His power is a 9. Power is a 9, so we're going to add 9 to these blue and white dice and see what happens. If you roll a 9 or higher, it's a home run. That's a 4, so it takes that to a 13. So it'll be a deep fly to right field, but caught on the track by Jack Clark for out number 2. That would have scored the run for a sacrifice fly. So even if there wasn't a wild pitch, the run still would have scored either way. So it's 5-1 now. Base is clear. And that's a 486. Ron Say against the right-hander, 486 is going to be a deep fly to center, and that will end the inning. Dodgers get another run to extend the lead to 5-1. And Bob Welch, this will be his start of his fatigue time, but we'll see how he does. He'll be facing Metzger, Hill, and Jack Clark, due up for the San Francisco Giants here at Candlestick Park on this Saturday, August 5th in 1978. But it is the bottom of the 7th, and you know what that means. For tradition's sake, we are going to take me out to the ball game. All right, we are back, ready for the bottom of the 7th. And Roger Metzger is on the mound. That's still up in the air, Robert. I do not know. I probably will not, because it's not really a 78 replay. It's just, the whole idea of this is just to mimic and get the experience of the NBC game of the week. So I don't really think a playoff is really necessary. Plus, I got other things I want to get going, so that's another reason behind it. But yeah, technically it's not a 78 replay. It's just the game of the week. So, all right, here's Roger Metzger. 473. against a right-hander. 4-7-3 is a ground out to second. And that will be one away here in the bottom of the seventh. Here's Mark Hill. Yeah, there you go. Ernest was on ABC. There you go. And I'm not doing the ABC night of the game of the night or whatever. So 301, and that's going to be a strikeout for Mark Hill. 2 down. And that will send us to Jack Clark, who will get his first at bat since coming in on the double switch. Jack Clark hit 25 home runs, 98 runs batted in, and 306. A very good year in 78. And he gets a fielding check on the third baseman, Ron Say. It's a 556. 556 is going to be a 5-3 ground out. So he just is able to get there and make the play to thwart Jack Clark and send the Giants packing 3 up and 3 down. We go to the 8th inning. It's still 5-1. Favor the Dodgers. Welch gave up nothing, so he still got juice in the tank. However, well, he is scheduled to bat 5th this inning. So if he gets down to his part, they might pinch hit for him. They might not. Might let him keep going. Who knows? Here's Steve Garvey. 627 for Garvey, and that will be a pop to short. Pop to short, 1 away. 1 down, and that brings up Dusty Baker. 303, and that will be a strikeout for Baker. 2 down. For Rick Monday. 111, and that's going to be a fly ball to right field, and that will end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. That's going to be it for Charlie Williams. He is set to bat second this inning, so they will pinch hit for him. But Williams pitches 2 innings of relief, gives up the triple and the run. No walks and 2 strikeouts. So bottom of the 8th we go. Welch is set to bat second next inning, so I think they're going to try to get Welch through this inning and then pinch hit for him later. It's going to be Madlock and a pinch hitter for Williams. So again, we bring out who they have on the bench and so forth. No right. The only switch they have is Tamargo. I don't know anything about Tamargo. He's probably not very good. I do know Mike Ivy's a decent hitter. Let's see. He's a 308 hitter. So Mike Ivy is going to pick up a bat, and he will hit for Williams. So it'll be Madlock, Ivy, and Evans due up for the Giants here in the bottom of the 8th, and then we'll need somebody to pitch the 9th. And that's probably going to be Moffitt, but don't quote me on it. We'll have to wait and see. So the pinch hitter is going to be Mike Ivy after Madlock hits. So it's Madlock, Ivy, and Evans here in the bottom of the 8th against Welch, who's trying to finish strong and post 8 innings. 306, and that's going to be a strikeout of Madlock. He doesn't strike out much, but he did here. Madlock out on strikes, and now the pinch hitter, Mike Ivy, 308 hitter with 11 home runs. But it's a fielding check, 594. That's the right fielder Smith, and that blue 4 should be just fine for him. He should have no problem with that. 594 is a fly to right, 2 down. So Ivy is retired. And Darrell Evans, the batter. Welch looking to go 8 strong. And collect the victory. 636 comes 646. And that's a 4-3 ground out to Lopes. And that's going to end the inning. So a very easy inning for Welch. And boy, when they didn't get Welch in the first inning, they had him on the ropes and they'd let him out. Only scoring that 1 run. I figured it might come back to haunt the Giants, and it certainly has. So that's it for Bob Welch. His day is done. He's going to go 8 solid innings. And let's see here what he gave up. The 1 run, obviously. Let's see here. Was it earned is the question, because there was an E5 that put him to third, but the single walk, that's debatable about whether or not, because I didn't know whether the single from Evans would have scored him. I don't know at the time if it did. I didn't pay attention to it, so I don't really care. At this point, I'm not keeping season stats, so it doesn't really matter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 4 hits allowed by Welch. He walked a total of only 2, and he didn't strike out that many either. He struck out 6. So the 8-inning total for Welch: 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. And now here for the top of the ninth, the Giants will need a fresh arm to kind of mop up. They do have Minton, Moffitt from the right side, and they have Curtis and Lavelle from the left side. Let's see who them out. They're going to go to Randy Moffitt, I guess. Randy Moffitt will come on. And it'll be Oates and a pinch hitter for Welch. So look at the pinch hitters for the Dodgers. They have the venerable Manny Mota. From the left side, they have Davalillo and switch hitter North. They've also got Ferguson and Lacey, pretty good hitters. So it just depends on who they want to bring in. Let's look at the bench totals here. Yes, Brian B. Yes, I double switched him out when I brought in Jack Clark to play right field to bat ninth, and Dwyer hit second. And so now the pitcher's hitting second on that double switch. You can tell by the barf from the RJL section 518. So Manny Mota, the venerable one, will pinch hit for Bob Welch. And then it won't be a save situation, so we'll figure out who's going to come in and pitch. But it will not be a save situation. But Welch, then you give the player of the game probably to Rick Monday or to Bob Welch, either one. They both probably will share in this. But we'll see. Top of the ninth. Randy Moffitt trying to clean up, mop up, whatever you want to call it. 5-1 Dodgers. 655 for Oates. 655 is a 5-3 ground out. So Oates is out of there. And now the pinch hitter, Manny Mota, picking up a bat. This had to be his last season. I don't remember him going past 78. But maybe he did. But I think it's probably his last season. Hello, Triple G. That's a 655. Going right back to the ballpark chart. 655 is a ground ball to third again. So 2 ground balls to third. And that will send up Lopes against Moffitt. Moffitt trying to put in a 1-2-3 inning. 253 against Lopes, the righty. 253 is a 6-3 ground out, and that'll do it. So 3 ground ball outs. Easy inning for Randy Moffitt. And now we go to the bottom of the ninth, last chance for the Giants, and we'll see who they're going to go up against for the Dodgers. The Giants have McCovey, Whitfield, and Herndon, so a couple lefties and a righty. So looking at the Dodger bullpen, they could go to Terry Forster, a lefty. He looks like a pretty good choice, I would think. He did have 22 saves, even though it's not a save situation. They'll go with Forster because of the fact they got lefties coming up. So Forster will be coming on to try to wrap this thing up. Whitfield, McCovey, Whitfield, and Herndon. Giants on the bench. Do they have any right-handed pinch hitters worthwhile? Not really. Andrews and Lemaster are pretty weak, so I think they're going to stick with who they got. Grin and bear it. Right now it's McCovey. That is a 150. And a 150 is going to be a fly to right field. So Forster gets McCovey to fly to right. 1 away. That'll bring up Terry Whitfield. That's a 640, turns into a 650. 650 is a ground ball to third. There's 2 away. Last chance, it'll be Larry Herndon, center fielder. That's a 643, turns into a 653, and this should do it. 653 is a ground ball to Ron Say at third, and that will do it. So 1-2-3 inning for Terry Forster. Does not get a save because it was not a save situation. But the Dodgers win it by the score of 5-1. Winning pitcher was Bob Welch. Loser was Ed Halicki. Get the totals for the Dodgers. And they go 5 runs, 7 hits, and I believe there was 1 error that was on Madlock. Dodgers, I'm sorry, the 1 error on the Dodgers was on Ron Say. John had an error on Matlock, and they had 1 run on 4 hits. So 5 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers, 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the Giants. Winning pitcher Bob Welch, losing pitcher Ed Halicki. No save based on the fact that it was a 4-run game, so obviously no save to be recorded there. Next Saturday in the 1978 world will be August the 12th, and we'll be heading to Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. It'll be the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Not sure who the pitching matchup is on that. It didn't look yet, but that'll be the game next Saturday. I'll try to have it ready for you at noon. I was a little bit behind today, but my goal is to get these going at noon. But do appreciate all you guys tuning in. Thank you, Captain, especially for your help on the rules, especially catching that strikeout little subset here on the pitcher card. I never even paid attention to this. My eyes always went to this. I never really looked at this. So it's the first time I've had to do that. But it's good practice now going forward. I'll know what I'm looking for. And I'll keep my cognizant of those changes. So thank you to Clay for being here as well, the game creator, and all you guys for being here, actually. Even Robert and his barf on my double switch. Still good to see him here. He is always a pleasant soul to have around. And that's going to be about it. Tonight, again, is going to be Sparky Bowl, 1976. Reds against the 84 Tigers, tied at 3 games apiece. All comes down to this. Somebody's got to win it. Gary Nolan against Jack Morris from Riverfront Stadium. Sparky Anderson is perplexed, and he's befuddled. He doesn't know who to pull for. So that'll be tonight. In between, so we may see a triple header. Somebody said something about a double header. I'm planning on doing a triple header on the channel tonight, because later on this afternoon, we'll be back to Stratomatic for another game in the Demolition League, second game in the Demolition League. And that is going to be the Dodgers and the Cubs. So Shohei Ohtani will be making his Demolition League debut against the Chicago Cubs. Brian B., it's very interesting. Like I said, all I can say is when I looked at the 76 Stratomatic set for Geronimo, he was given a 1 range on defense, which is the best you can have. Inside pitch gave him a 2 range, which is the second worst you can have. And you could have 52 guesses if you wanted, but you only need 1 guess to figure out which game engine I trust more on the ratings. So that's all I'm going to say about that, as Forrest Gump would have said. That's all I got to say about that. So that will be going on probably this afternoon sometime. I don't know when. Maybe in a couple hours, actually. Depending on what I got going on around here. But definitely around 8 o'clock is when I plan on Sparky Bowl taking place. So, but I do have to do. I am tweaking somebody's annoyingly riding a motorcycle down the street. I don't know why they're doing that, but it's definitely annoying. Throwing me off here a little bit. But I'm definitely tweaking the Demolition League a little bit. I first said I was going to do the 25-man roster based on who had the most at-bats and the most innings pitched. But I've changed my mind on that. I'm going to start with the opening day lineups as they were real world and let injuries take over from there. And then if I'm missing an open day player that's not carded, I'll fill in with somebody else. That's the most logical choice. But I am going back and rearranging the 25-man rosters for each of the teams so I can have that straightened out. Oh, 74, they beat out the Dodgers, huh? That's interesting. The one year they didn't win it in real world, they won it in that. That's interesting. Very interesting. So anyway, I'm going to probably go get some lunch, something to grab a bite to eat for lunch. And I'll come back in a couple hours probably for the Demolition League. It'll be Shohei Ohtani's first trip in the Demolition League. So we'll see how he does against the Cubs. It'll be Justin Steele for the Cubs, a left-hander, against right-hander Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers. And that's how you get back-to-back Dodgers here this afternoon. 1978 version and 2024 version. So until then, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.